So today we're going to be installing the new Delta Hands Free Faucet on our Lavatory Trainer. Now we're going to do another video later with a kitchen faucet with voice control, but we're still working on that trainer. So today is the Delta Lavatory Faucet. Now think about everything going on these days. With all the bugs and everything going around, we want to be very careful about what we touch. And the less things we can touch, the less situations we put ourselves in. So thinking about a commercial grade faucet that literally people don't have to touch could be great for them. This video is sponsored by Ferguson, and we teamed up with Ferguson because of the great partners they connect us with, but also because of everything they do for plumbers and the plumbing community. So thanks to Ferguson. If you're interested in this faucet, go to ferguson.com. So what we've got here is our Lavatory Trainer. Now, we have a self-rimming, drop-in porcelain lavatory. We have a push-up, pop-up assembly down here, so there is no control on this, which in a commercial situation, you would have something like this, but chances are more than likely you would have a grid drain, and actually an offset grid drain, because you would want it to set back out of the way for ADA purposes. Now, this is also good for ADA because there's no handles to touch. You don't have to have the wide handles. What happens here is literally they just put their hands under here and the water starts flowing. Now, this trainer's not hooked up, so we're not gonna be flowing any water, but I wanna show you how easy this is to install. If you're doing a retrofit, you would have already pulled the lavatory out, cleaned everything up. So I'm gonna open this and start installing the base plate. This particular faucet will install on a 1-hole or a 4-inch lavatory faucet situation. So I've got a cover plate that'll cover all 3 holes, but if it was just a single hole, it would work fine. So let's jump in here and get started. So this is the Delta PAL GHDF. Now, you've got the 59 in front of it, but you've actually got a blank on each side of it, and what that means is it's for a single hole. Now, you have the trim plate to where it'll cover the 4, and they make a trim plate to cover the 8, or down here, a blank battery operated. Now, I love the battery operated because you can actually install it in places where you don't have electricity. So we're gonna get started on this. Of course, I've got a 3-hole sink, so I'm gonna use the deck plate. And one thing that I want you to remember is always look at these before you put them in, make sure you know which way they go. Now, I've got a pin in the front and you've got a hole here on the bottom, so I know that it goes together like this. So you wanna get your foam in place and actually slide everything in. And I just like to look, make sure I've got it centered up. Everything looks good. It doesn't hang over the front. It doesn't hang over the back. There's a lot of different reasons, but now that I've got it in this way, I can take all my trim pieces and get ready to screw this thing together. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is climb up under here and get all my trim ready to go. So I've got my 2 escutcheons, I've got my washers, get everything lined up the way that I want it. And sometimes with gloves, it's hard. Now, 2 things here. Number 1, I want to make sure that I've got it lined up for that spout will fit down in the hole. Nice and neat and straight. And I need to move it back just a hair, but I hadn't tightened it up yet, so that's relatively easy to do. So when I get it in, I just want to double check, make sure everything lines up. Nice, neat, and square. Dead center, so I know I'm good there. So next I'm gonna get my washer pieces ready to go. I'm gonna get my flat washer and my nut. So again, I'll double check everything because I want to make sure everything is nice, neat, and square. That way I know nothing up here is going to move around when I start tightening things on the bottom. Now, I've got a lot of room up under this trainer, but normally you may have to get in here with a basin wrench and even tighten up these little nuts. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and install my control box. Now, if I had a sheetrock wall here, I'd actually use the anchors. But since this is a trainer and I've got a wood bracket here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 2 screws and I'm just actually gonna install it right over here. Now, if this was an offset grid drain, it would actually go to the back and I could have my P-trap off to the side. So we're gonna install this for the trainer and make it all look good. Now, like I said, if I was on a sheetrock wall, I'd have anchors stuck in and I have 2 more screws here on the bottom that I could actually set in place. Now we'll hook up the electronics here in a moment. The wires are going to be easier to run than the water, so I want to go ahead and get the water lines installed. So first thing I'm going to do is hook up my water line to the bottom of the faucet. That way if there's anything under the sink, a P-trap, a condensate line, anything like that I need to work around, I've got it good. And then I'm gonna go right to the outlet side of my control box. Now, you can see on here that you do have a bigger hex for backup. What you wanna do before you turn the water on is get in here and make sure that all your connections are tight. That way you don't have any leaks, especially around your electronics. Hold backup on it. You never wanna tighten this without backup. And then we'll do the same thing on the water. And as you can see, you've got arrows telling you where your inlet is, where your outlet is. Now, at this point, I have not put the aerator in. So what I would do on a live system is go ahead and open it up and let everything run through. I want to make sure anything either in the control valve, in the faucet, anything like that gets washed out. Anything that maybe if we'd have installed a new angle stop, any flux, any solder, anything at all like that, I want to make sure it gets washed out really good. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hook up the electronic controls and then get ready to put my batteries in. You've got a clip here and you have an alligator clip over here. So what you want to do, you actually want to take it and I try to wrap it up around my water line. The reason being, I can come back and zip tie it to it and kind of keep it secure and out of the way. Then you clip it onto the downspout right there, and you take your alligator clip and clip it on one of the connector rods coming down from the faucet. So now everything's done here, and all I have to do is zip tie it to it. That way it all comes down nice and neat and stays clean and out of the way. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna open up the box so I can get into the controls. So, okay, so over on the left side, I've actually removed the battery pack. And what I'm gonna do is put my batteries in. Now, I've still got the water turned off and I don't have the aerator installed yet. The reason being, I want to make sure I flush out anything. Now, you get everything installed and you've got the Velcro fasteners on the back, so I'm going to put this right back in where it goes and plug it into the control unit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and slide both these doors out of the way. I'm going to slide the piece in with the Velcro and lock it in. Then you've got a little ridge right there where your line goes through to the other side. Now I can put the left cover back on. So now I've got my switch over here and I have a plug where that lorry plugs together. So I'm going to plug it right back in place where it goes. Tuck the wire back in. You make sure not to pinch your wires when you're putting them in here. Make sure that they'll move around. So at this point, what I want to do before I put my aerator in is actually turn the water on, and then I'm going to reach up here and activate the faucet. That way it runs and it flushes out anything in the line. So let's get ready to do this. And you can hear the solenoids click, so you know that the water's coming on, and when I pull it away, it's coming back off. So now all I've got to do, slide my aerator together, and this is a vandal proof, so they can't steal it, they can't do anything with it. Put my washer in place. Now, as you see, that's the vandal proof thing. See how that turns or doesn't turn? When I try to turn it here, it does not move. Now, I can put my fingers up in there and try and turn the inside to get it started, but you've got a special tool now. Once you get everything in and snug and tight, as you can see, nobody can just reach in here and unscrew it. Doesn't go anywhere. So check it again. And we can hear the solenoid functioning. Guys, with everything going on in the world, these are going to become more popular. Think about it. If you can walk into a restroom, use the restroom, wash your hands, and never touch anything, you're in a much safer place. So I see these getting changed out a lot, and I gotta tell you, I love the Delta products. I love how durable and sturdy that they are, and I can't wait till I get to show you the one next time for the kitchen faucet that's voice activated. Again, this video is sponsored by Ferguson. I really do appreciate everything Ferguson does, not just for me, but for the entire plumbing community. And Delta, this is a great product. If you've ever installed one of these hands-free products like this before and you see how easy it is, do me a favor and leave me a comment down below. How well did it work? Because I got to tell you, I love these things. Anytime I can walk into a bathroom and not have to touch anything, you know, I'm a plumber. Come on, I'm a happy camper. Anyway, again, thank you to Ferguson and thank you to Delta. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.